Hello and welcome. In this video, we are going to create this render you see right now. We are going to model it, light it, texture, and then finally render out this image. So let's get started. Now to model anything in Cinema 4D, it's advisable to have a reference image. The reference image for this project is available inside the assets folder you downloaded. Okay, so let's set the reference image so that we can model according to that image. Okay, so we go to the front view here, and then we come here on the menu of the front view, we come to view and then configure. Okay, when you click configure, the attribute manager, the settings will pop up here. You go into the back tab, and then here where it says the image, we will browse for the image. So we click here and then we browse for the image. So let's browse for the image. So inside the project one folder, you have the assets here. We have the blueprint, which is the reference image, and we have the label for the product that we are going to model. Okay, so we select this, then you see this is the reference image, it's a blueprint. Okay, the size is really big, so I'll make it 100. Yeah, okay, and I want to push it so that the base of the object or the reference image is sitting on this line, which is the zero axis, the 0 point. Okay, so you come to the offset Y and then we increase it. Let's do zoom on it, and then 39.6 or maybe 0.4. Yes, 39.4, and then it will sit directly on the base. Okay, so now let's continue by modeling this thing. But first, I want to change the transparency of this reference image so that I can see the lines that I create. So when I come down here inside the attribute manager, you see there's a transparency button here. I'll increase it to maybe 92%. Okay. So let's start. And then when you look at the object, you see that the shape is a bottle. So the shape is like in a cylindrical form. Okay, so there's so many ways you can start with it. You can start with a pen tool to just trace the outlines, and then use the lathe or the soup tool to make the object. But for this modeling, I want to start with a cylinder. Okay, so I come here and I create a cylinder. It's very big, so I'll just make sure to block the actual size of the object. Okay, like this. Blocky here. Okay, so I'll start off with this part. So I have this part, this block. Okay, I will decrease the height segments to 1, and then with the rotation segments I'll make it 12, because when we finish you add it to a subdivision surface to smooth it. Okay, well, let's scale it down like this to get that shape. Okay, so let's go back to the perspective view, and then right now you see that the cylinder, the top and bottom is still there. I don't want it, so with the cylinder selected inside the attribute manager, I go to this tab, the caps tab, and then untick the caps. When I do that, you see that the top and down is gone. We don't have any caps on it. Okay, so that's what I want. Okay, and then I'll make it into an editable by clicking the make editable button here. Now this is an editable, so I can manipulate the edges and the points and the faces. Okay. Now let's go back to the front view. Okay, so with the front view, I want to extrude this edge to build the shape. Okay, so I make the edge selection. I switch to the edge selection mode. Okay, and I need to select all the edges at the top. This edges at the top. Okay, and to do that, we have something called the loop selection. When it come here, you see we have the loop selection here. If it's not here, you can go to select, and then with the select, you have the loop selection right here. Okay, and the shortcut for the loop selection is actually UL. When you select, you see that it selects all the loop selection of the edges here. Okay. So I'll come to the front view and then I need to extrude it. Okay. You can use the extrude tool to extrude it, but there's a shortcut for extruding it. If you hold Control and you switch to the move tool, this move tool, and you hold Control and you move it, it duplicates it while moving it. Okay. So you see, this is where it was. Now we have another section here. And then if you can see, this section is a little bit bigger than this one. So you need to scale it. So I select the scale tool. And when I'm scaling, I don't want to scale inside the y-axis. Okay, so I need to lock the y-axis. So I'll come to the top here and you click the y-axis. The y-axis is locked. So now when I scale, it won't scale on the y-axis. Okay, so I need to scale it to match the shape of this. Okay, I select the move tool again, hold Control, drag up to have this. Select the move, hold Control again, because remember we are extruding to block out the shape. Okay, so you hold Control, you drag it up, you have this shape. You take the scale tool, do it like this. Okay, move to, hold Control, move it here, take the scale tool, scale it in. So we're going to do that to block all the shape. So I'm going to continue doing it, and you can also do it the same thing. We are going to block all the shapes. Okay, hold Control, scale, move to, hold Control, up, scale to, scale up, move to, hold Control, up, scale to, scale it up, hold Control, move, scale to, scale it up, move, hold Control, move, scale to, scale it in, move to, move, hold by holding Control, and also scale it in. Remember, when you are scaling it in, you don't hold Control because we are not extruding. We are just scaling what we have extruded. Okay. So hold Control, move, take the scale to, scale it in, move to, hold Control, move. We won't scale it in. We hold Control again, we move. We take the scale to, we scale it out, move to, hold Control, we move. We hold Control, we move another one. We take the scale to, scale it in. Take the move to, we hold Control and move. Okay, now we have the top part of the object constructed. So when you look at it, this is how it is. Okay, so let's finish it by doing the same thing to the down one. And we need to select the loop selection down here. Okay, so we take the loop selection tool, we select this one down here. Okay, we come to the front view, take the move tool, hold Control, move, scale it up. The move tool, hold Control, move, hold Control again, move. The scale tool, scale it in. We select the move tool, hold Control, then we scale it in again. Okay, so now we have the object blocked out. Now we need to close this hole right here. In order to do that, there's a tool called close polygon hole. When you right click, you have the tool here, which is close polygon hole. So you select, and if you select down here, any point in down here, you click, and then the hole will be closed. Okay, now we need to create some segments in there. Okay, so we select, we take the soft live selection tool, we moved back to the polygon selection mode. Then we can select this polygon. Okay, right here we right click, we go to, we select insert, the insert tool, because we are inserting polygons. Okay, so we drag and hold and it inserts polygon 1, 2. Now we have inserted the polygon. Now we need to cut this polygon so that we can have quads. The same way this all have quads, 4 sides, like 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to make sure that the polygon faces here also have quads. Okay, so I want to align it like this so that the X side is facing the right. Okay. Then I'll take the knife tool. The knife tool. If it's not here, you can right click and then take the line cut tool. The line cut tool is the same as the knife tool. It's just been renamed in R25. Okay. So with that, we go to the point selection mode. So with the line cut tool, I cut the line from here to here. And then I press escape on my keyboard to make it work. And then from here to here again, escape. From here to here, escape. Then I'll cut the middle from here to here, escape. Now I have quads. Okay, you have quads. Now we take the live selection tool. I want to select this point. Zoom in and select this point. And I want to scale on the X axis so that it's not straight. So I want to have some flow kind of layout, a flow kind of path. Okay, so I put it like this, then I have the flow. Okay, so now when we create a subdivision surface and we put the cylinder inside, you see that we have that kind of flow. Okay, so that's what I wanted. Now it's time to dress up this whole place. Okay, so let's disable the subdivision surface, and this edge right here, I want it in a way that when you enable the subdivision, is not that curve. I want to have that kind of the hard curve, the hard movement from there. Okay, so what we do is that with the cylinder selected, I right click and go to loop or path cut, because I want to cut a line here, and also here. Okay, when you cut a line close together like that, when you enable the subdivision, you see that we have that this size, we have it here. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. So we do the same thing down here. Okay, I cut a line here, and then I cut another loop line here. Okay, so now we go to the object mode. You see we have that kind of sharp curve there. Okay, so that's what we wanted. And we do the same here at the edge right here. So disable this, go here, go to either line cut or okay. And another way to do it is actually using the bevel tool. Okay, so let's take the loop selection. Let's select this, hold shift, and also select the down one. Okay, let's select the neck tool because we want to create that auto sharp distance there. Okay, and right click and choose the bevel tool. Okay, and then you click and drag, and it creates that line there. It creates extra line cuts there. Okay, so now when we enable the subdivision surface, go back to the object map, you see we have that kind of sharp on those edges. It's not as smooth as it was. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. So now we are actually done with the modeling of the bottle. Okay, now we will do the top cap of the bottle. Okay, it's very easy. We go back to the front view, and we need to create this top cap. Okay, okay, so now with the top cap, I'm not going to use the cylinder approach. I'm going to use the pen tool approach. Okay, so I take the spline pen, okay, and I start drawing it. So I'll start by drawing from here to here. Okay, and then come down like this. Okay, you don't worry about the position. We will align them when we finish creating it. Okay, create here, and then I end it back here. Okay, so now we take the live selection tool, and we want to make sure that this point, it's exactly on 0 axis on the X axis. It's a 0 on a 0 point on the X axis. Otherwise, when we use the lathe generator to lathe it, it will overlap if this is not rightly in the middle. Okay, so with this point selected, let's enable the coordinate manager right here. with this point selected, we want to make sure that on the x-axis is exactly 0 centimeters. Okay, so we come here and we enter 0 and enter. We do the same with the top here, also 0. And so now they are falling on the 0 on the x-axis, so that means they are in the middle. So when you lathe it, there won't be any overlapping. Okay, now with this line, I want to make sure that this and this is on the same size as is on the same point on the y-axis. Okay, so with both of them selected, we want to scale it on the y-axis to 0. So when we come here, this is the scale, this is the y-axis. Okay, this is the x-axis, this is position, rotation, and scale. Okay, so when you come onto the y-axis, we have to make sure that this scale of the y-axis is 0 centimeters, so that this point and this point will fall on the same line on the y-axis. I hope you understand it. Okay, so we come here and we enter 0, and you see now we have a straight line because they all fall on the same points on the y-axis. Okay, so we do the same thing, not drag. We do the same thing on this with these 2 points. We make sure that it's 0 on the y-axis. We have it. Okay, nice. Now we want this point and this point to fall the same line on the x-axis. So instead of doing the y-axis, we have to come to the x-axis, the scale, and do it 0. So you see it falls on the same line. We do the same thing with this and this. Unfortunately, well, it's this one is already there. It's already on the same line. Okay, then we select this 2, and we make sure it's on the same point on the x-axis. So we actually scale up the y to 0. Okay, so we come here, we select this. Okay, now we have them. Okay, now we need this curve right here. So we select this point, right click, and go to chamfer. What a chamfer does is that when you click and drag, it creates that curve. Okay, so we have it, and we want another curve here, here, and here, so that we create that bevel. This is so that when we sweep it and add into a subdivision surface, we will have a little bit of bevel on there. Okay, so with this 3 selected, we right click and choose chamfer, but we won't do it much. We just kind of do it a little bit so we get that small bevel there. Okay, good. Now that we have it, this is it. This is the spline. We have a spline here that represents the cup. We need to lathe it around. Okay, now when we come to the generator side here, we click and hold on the subdivision surface, so the other generators will come, and then we select the lathe. Okay, because we want to lathe it, and we select the spline and put it inside the lathe. Then we have the cup. You see, it uses the spline and creates a circular and extrude it circularly, so that we have this. Okay. Now we have the product, we have the bottle, we have the cup. Okay, now we need the liquid that is inside. Okay, and in order to do the liquid that is inside, we need to actually create an inner section of the bottle. Okay, we create an inner section of the bottle. Okay, and in order to do that, we use the extrude tool. So okay, this subdivision is deleted. I don't need it. Okay, so with this cylinder selection, let's disable the subdivision for now. Okay, and let's hide the cup. So we have the cylinder shape right now. So let's go to the face selection. Okay, and we want to have inner section of the bottle. So we select all the surfaces, right click, and go to extrude. And I want to have the extrude right now. When you extrude, this is how it come. Okay, but I don't want it that way, because there will be holes inside this place that I want to cover. Okay, so let's undo it. And then when you want to extrude this, you want to create caps. Okay, so right now when we extrude, it creates caps. Okay, Now we have an inner section and an outer section. When we go back to the front view, you see this is the outer section and this is the inner section. Okay, so we now have some thickness inside this. Okay, then it left with one other thing that we need to do. We select this, go to loose selection, and then we move to the edge. We need to create some bevel here and here, so that when we add the subdivision surface, it won't work like it won't be that smoothness. It will have some kind of bevel here. Okay, so we right click, we choose the bevel, and then we bevel it a little bit, just a little bit. Okay, so now when we enable this, you see we have that kind of this thing there. Okay, so now with that we have some thickness of the bottle. We need to resize the cup so that it fits very well, and it might fit, but let's just check. Okay, it actually does fit. It fits very well. Okay, then we can move on. Okay, now we need to have the liquid inside the bottle. Okay, and we can create that using the same bottle layer, but because it's in a subdivision surface, we don't have access to all the, let's switch to all the, you see all the subdivisions, all these faces. As soon as we disable the subdivision surface, you see this is the actual surface of the bottle. Okay, but we want to have access to all of this. Okay, this one. Okay, so what we do is that with this one, we have to make it editable so that we convert this subdivision surface into its object. So come here, we click editable. Now we see that the cylinder, right now we have access to the faces of the subdivision surface. Okay, let's call this the bottle. Okay, let's hide the cup for now. Let's switch to the faces mode. Okay. Now we need to take measurement where we want the liquid to start from. And I want the liquid to start from somewhere here. Okay, because when you look at beverages, they are not actually full to the rim. So we want it to start somewhere around here. Okay, and we want to do the liquid inside. Okay. So when you guess, you see that somewhere around here we have our liquid. So we take the loop selection key inside the polygon faces. We will select here. That marks where our liquid will start from. Okay, and there's another tool that we could use to fill up the other selection. Okay, so you go to select, you come here and select the fill selection, and you have to hold shift, otherwise this already selected will not be selected, but I want it to be added to the selection. So we hold shift and we put the cursor below it, because if you put it above it, it will select all the polygons above it, but I want to select the polygons below it, so we put it below it, and then with holding shift we click and it will add it to the selection. So now we have the inside of the bottle selected, a part of the inside selected. Okay, we need to split it from the bottle. Okay, like creating another copy of it from the bottle so that we use that one as our liquid. Okay, so we right click on it and then we choose split. This one, when you choose split, you notice that it creates another version of the bottle called bottle.1. Okay, this is now the liquid. So now if you hide the bottle, you see we have the liquid right here. Okay, so we name this the liquid. Okay. Now we go to the point mode and we need to close the top. So we right click and select close polygon hole. Okay, so when you click, it will close the polygon hole. Okay, so we take the live selection, go back to the faces mode, select this, right click, insert. I want to insert something small one and push it down here, down a bit. Insert again and insert again. It's okay. Well, you can go on and create the parts, but for this it's the camera will not be in a close range with this, and we are not going to UV unwrap this liquid, so we can leave it like this. Okay. And then when you select the faces, let's select all the faces, you see that the color is blue. This means that the normals of this object has been reversed. Okay, we need to reverse the normals back. Okay, when we say normals, they are the directions, like the point the object faces. So this is actually the back of the object, not the faces of the object. I hope you understand it. Okay, so we right click, and then when we come down here, we click reverse normals. Right now you see that the faces are not blue. Okay, this means that we have reversed the normals. This is the normals is now accurate on this object. Okay, we go back to the object mode. Let's go to the front view, and then we enable the bottle itself. Okay, now if you look closely, the liquid and the bottle are on the same line. The inside of the bottle is on the same line as the liquid. When you're using advanced render engines like Arnold, V-Ray, and the rest, you won't have a problem with this. But when you're using the physical or the standard Cinema 4D render, which we were using, you have a problem with the liquid if it intersects with the bottle. So what we need to do is we need to take the liquid, take the scale tool, and then we need to scale it. Okay, so we scale it here, and then we unlock the y-axis and scale it only on the y-axis just a little bit. Okay, so that we don't have it intersecting with the inside of the bottle, so that we won't have a problem with it. Okay, now we are done with the modeling of the bottle, the cup, and the liquid. Now we need to texture it, and before we can texture it, we need to assign the label where we want the label or to be on the bottle. And we can create another geometry, but there's an easier way we call the material selection. Okay, so with the bottle selected, when we go to the polygon faces right here, you see all this are the polygon faces. Okay, but we want to create a portion where we will put our label. Okay, so let's take the loop selection and then select. I want our label to start from here, below this curve right here, and then end down here. So I'll hold shift and select this. So now we have this to start to finish, but we need to fill this portion too. So you can just keep holding shift and selecting it, but there's an easier way. You go to select, you take fill selection, hold shift, and then we put it on here. It will fill the selection because you have already selected these two. It will fill this selection together. So now we have the selection filled. Okay, now we need to store this selection so that Cinema 4D will know that this selection we have stored for a certain purpose. Okay, so you come here to the menu bar, you click select, you click store selection. You see it's created a selection tag on the bottle. Okay, so we come down here, we give it a name. This will be our label tag. Okay, so we have it. So we are now done with the material selection tag. Okay, now what is left is to actually assemble light and then render our product. Okay, so for that we need to create a platform that the product will stand on. Okay, so let's go back to object mode, display. Let's go back to the Geroid shading so that we see our object. Okay, right here. Now I'll go to the right view right here, and I'll create a cube. And I'll come to the attributes manager. I want to make sure this cube is 400 centimeters on all sides. Okay, and then the segments I want to have 2 on all sides. Okay, right now. Okay, so I want to push this cube so that the base is actually standing here on the floor of it, and we know that the height is, which is the y, is 400 centimeters. So if you come here, this coordinate manager, this is the position. So if I know that if I push it 200 centimeters up, because it's 400 centimeters high, it will sit exactly on the floor. Okay, because half of the 400 is 200. Okay, so I'll come here when I put 200 centimeters, enter, and I will see that the cube is sitting right on the floor. Okay, now let's make it editable. This is our platform. Okay, now we need to delete the face facing the front, because right now when you look at the perspective view, you see this is the cube. Okay, but our object is actually inside the cube. Okay, so let's go back to the right, and then let's take the rectangle selection tool, move to the point mode. Let's select this point. Okay, this point, this right here, and then let's delete. Because we've deleted this point, we will be left with this shape. Okay, so now we are left with this shape as our platform or our base. Okay, now I need to curve it. Now there's a way you can actually choose the edge mode, select this edge. Okay, you select this edge and then you use the bevel tool to do it, but I don't want to do it that way. A simple way is creating a subdivision surface, okay, and putting the platform in, and then it will curve it. And I want to select the subdivision and increase it to 3. Okay, so we have that kind of smooth system. Okay, now that we have it, let's select. Okay, so this is, let's just take this out of this null because we're going to put all inside. So let's delete this. We have the liquid bottle, and this is the cap. This is the top, so the cap. Okay, I want to put all this inside a null object. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll create a null object. This is the null object. I'll create it and call this is the drink, because this is our product. Okay, and I want to put all of this inside a null object. Okay, but before that, I'll go to the front view and I have to make sure that it's actually sitting on it. So I'll select the cup, hold shift, select the bottle and the liquid, and move it up and make sure that it's actually sitting on the base. Okay, this one you have to eyeball it. Okay, so when you're comfortable and you're sure it's there, then you can actually, with this selected, all this, the cup and bottle liquid selected, you can drag them and put it inside a drink, so you have one object. This is like grouping them, so we have using the null to group the objects. Okay, so now this is what we have. Okay, we have our object, which is the drink, and our platform. Okay, now we need to set up the lights, but before we set up the lights, let's compose our shot. Use a camera to take our shot, like how we will render it, how we want it to appear. Okay, so we create a camera. Okay, and mostly when you're doing product shots, if you're a photographer, you know that using a longer focal length is advisable than using a wide angle focal length. Okay, this one, it doesn't distort the product. Okay, so with our camera selected, we come to the focal length, and there are some presets here. I personally like to use either the portrait or the tele. So right now I use the tele, which is 135mm. Okay, and then we have to look through the camera. So this icon, when you click it, you're looking through the camera. Okay, right now. Okay, this is it, and I want the size of my render to be square, so I need to set up the output settings of my render. Okay, to do that, we click here. This is the render tab. You click the render settings, you come here, output, and you need to set the width and height of your object. Okay, I want my object to be 1000 by 1000. Okay, so you can close it. You see that you see this black border. This is the negative part. This is where the camera won't see. Okay, so we need to position our product very well inside. So with the camera selected, because I cannot really use my eyeball to really see it, I want everything to be accurate. What I'll do is, with my camera selected, I'll come to the attributes manager, go to the coordinate system, and zero everything out so that I start from scratch. So I'll zero everything out. Okay, now everything is zeroed. I'll use the Y to bring it up, and then the Z to push my camera out like this. Okay, and play with the Y, bring it down, the Z, push it out. Push it out like this. Okay, so now with this, I know that my product is in the middle. This render is mostly going to be used on social media, so I'm putting my product in the middle. That's the composition I'm going for. You can use any composition that you like. So right now that we have our composition set, okay, I want to lock the position of the camera so that I don't move it by a mistake. So in order to do that, I need to add a protection tag on it. In order to add a protection tag to it, you right click on the object. In this case, you right click on the camera. You come here and go to rigging tags. rigging tags, and the protection tag is under the rigging tag. So you click here. So the protection tag is right now on the camera, so we cannot actually move around because it's locked. Remember, we are looking through the camera, and if you want to move around, you have to click this camera active this thing to turn it off, so that you are not looking through the camera anymore. Now you can actually pan around. Okay. Okay, so that is what we have in this video. We did the modeling, we did the platform, and we did the composition of the camera. In the next video, we're going to look at how to light, texture, and then render our final product.